everywhere.
Wait, it's a plane. It's a bird. It's Lane Kiffin in Oxford, Mississippi. No, he's in Baton Rouge. Where is he, Frank Duffy? Rob Brown, Brendan Martin, Frank Duffy, David Phillips.
Reporting from NORAD tonight on Lane Watch. We have him on the satellite going across the screen.
Well, if it's not a covey of teal coming over, it could be Lane's plane because he's been in Baton Rouge more times than I can shake a stick at.
I think Lane's pilots are getting drunk, just touring the nation, baby. They're not going anywhere. They send up detour planes. This isn't my first rodeo here. They got fake planes going on. The fake planes.
Well, this is our 7th Goal to Go show. I got to tell you, it's my Leonard Fournette show or Honey Badger, or you go back a long way for my boy Burt Jones back in the 70s, which was my favorite number 7. But I thought we would do today is not only maybe do our conjecture on what's going on with Lane Kiffin and all the coaching searches, but I really wanted to touch base with one of my best friends, and again, a guy that throws the best tailgate, I'm telling you, at LSU. If you ever come to town, it's between the old field house and the first titty on the Indian Mounds. And I am telling you, you will have the best food and the best time that you've ever had because that's really what we're known for. Yeah, LSU, we've got national championships. And yeah, we got a powerhouse in baseball. But really what we're known for is we like to have a good time. We like to pass a good time. And I thought what a cool show would be is to talk to David about what it's been like to set up a tailgate for over 20 years and the work that goes into it, but the enjoyment that people have. And look, we were just there last Saturday. We'll be there tomorrow. It is a lot better on the night games because, again, you got the time to kind of lead up to it. But I just wanted to kind of touch on that with our LSU boys that are here. We're at the hunting camp that we're getting ready to go do our duck hunt tomorrow. Opening season, am I correct on that? Opening day. So, David, what are your thoughts again when we talk about LSU tailgating? What is it that other fans from around the SEC, they think they know us, but what would you say is the best thing about our joy of life and celebrating at LSU?
Well, I think it's our open arms accommodating to any and everybody that are coming in, whether you're dressed in our competitive colors or whether you're just showing up as a friend of a friend of ours.
Correct.
You treat them like family. You treat them like you would want to be treated. And the food and the drink and the camaraderie is all there. So It's just open arms, welcome them in. The stadium and the whole outside, you got probably double 200,000 people that are actually tailgating, only of which 100,000 are going to the game.
2 to 3 times,
So you have all these people there that anybody that doesn't have a ticket can come in and that's their home.
Correct.
Or you can bounce, say, oh, thank you very much for this. Let me taste this food. Wow, that was great. You're right, night games are great, but how great was last week?
It was awesome.
when we had grits and griots at 11 a.m. in the morning, and it was fantastic.
And after the win, you can put your feet up, and actually you've already done the hard work. Right. It's not like gearing up for the night.
That didn't happen very much, but still, I mean, that was really great. And people, we had a lot of people come in from Arkansas that came from there.
Sure did.
We had a lot of people wearing their red and all that, but it's not no, don't talk to me, get out of here. It's come in, let me show you what it's like to really be a tailgate, and that's what it is. And look, we have a great tailgate, and we are a tight-knit group. It's called LTTK. It's the Lazy Tiger Tailgate Crew. And the reason why we call it that is because my wife and I, Dawn, we started this tailgate years and years ago, and for 7 years, it was just us. We put up the tents, we put out the food, we do all the things. It's expensive, you're feeding all these people. Yeah. And after
a lot of work.
On year 7, I'll never forget, it was like the 3rd or 4th game of the season, and Dawn said, can we just do the SEC games and not all the games? And I was like, stop. I knew, that she flinched. I was like, wait a minute, that's not good. That's like saying, like gun control. Can we just take away these guns first or whatever? And I was like, stop. And so I got the people that have been around us for a long time.
That's a great idea.
We got together and we decided we're getting older. As we get older, we're getting lazier.
Sure, yeah.
So we put up money and it evolved to where now we have people that bring the tailgate out there. We have another company that sets up the tents. We still buy the food, still do a lot, but they do the heavy lifting. And so now,
Rob, it's cradle to grave, brother. You get out there in the morning and they've got everything set up. And I'm talking about beer wagon, the best, a full bar, great food. The griots and grits that you were talking about last week were fantastic. And to our point, we always are talked about how tough it is to play in Tiger Stadium, and we're your worst enemy for 3.5 hours. We really are. But before the game and after the game, even if you're wearing crimson, you will be invited to tailgates. And to your point, it's brother-in-laws of brother-in-laws of brother-in-laws. If you even can potentially know somebody that's in your group, they're in. They feed everybody. And that's my thing about LSU. I'll never forget in 2005 when Ron and I first got our RV and we were going and we were doing a lot of parking either in Touchdown Village or down by the
Tiger One.
Bengal One. Rob will tell you about Bengal One and all of our adventures. Since 2019, right? And so what was cool is I'll never forget this as long as I live. We were playing Virginia Tech. And Virginia, it was 2007, our national championship. The one here, 2002 was at Blacksburg. We returned the favor in 2007. And if you remember, Virginia Tech had the shooting about 2 weeks before.
Oh, that's right.
So they had just had that mass shooting, Rob, at Blacksburg when all the Virginia Tech people came in, right? And I'll never forget this. When they were driving up, LSU people made it a point. All of us that were in RV row made a point to go over and get the Virginia Tech people and say, look, y'all come on over. Come on over and have some food. I'm telling you, for 3 nights, we fed all these people. And when I'm telling you, you get a gourmet meal from one, you pick 6 RVs, any of them, you're going to get wild game at one, you're going to get gumbo at the other, you're going to get jambalaya at the other.
But you're going to get the same very accommodating.
Yes.
Open arms,
hospitality
from anybody.
Exactly.
And if you don't, they don't last.
It doesn't matter where you are. You can be closer in the campus, or you can be out where the RVs and stuff are. And it was so cute. I'll never forget this. These 2 young college kids that came all the way from Virginia Tech. We must have fed them 10 meals over the 3 days. And at the very last end, they were in like a rental RV, and they had this. Apparently in Virginia, it's a big thing to have pickled eggs. And they walked up with a jar that looked like it was from the Circle K. Yeah. And they walk up. No, this was great. He goes,
pig's feet.
We wanted to share some with you. And what I'm telling you, the top of the jar was off. They were holding the jar by the handle. The juice, the vinegar is like sloshing around, and it was like 3 nasty eggs left.
Did you try one?
I had to, because it would have been not right for me to not do it.
Exactly.
And I tell you what, I picked that thing up. I smelled it. It had to be in there for a month. That was excellent.
You know what that is? That's LSU.
That's exactly right.
That's a big olive.
That was a big deal. That's right.
Big olive.
But
90% of everybody else would have said no, thank you, but thank you. Bye.
That was a Hell Week reference from my boy Martin Patio sitting over there. We won't delve into that.
Please don't.
I used to. I like to bet people at 3:00 in the morning in the War Eagle Supper Club in Auburn. I'll bet you $20 you won't eat one of those nasty pink pickled eggs in that jar. And they would do it for $20 because that was a lot of money back in the 80s. But I'm going to ask y'all this.
Yeah,
I will say this. LSU fans, when they come to Auburn, when I go to Baton Rouge, anywhere you go, they are unlike anybody else. And that's if it ever ran, flew, swam, or crawled, they can cook it and they can make it taste good. Beef tongue with mock chew gravy. I've been introduced to some great stuff.
It's beef tongue.
Yeah. But beef tongue weighs about 20 pounds. It's like a side of ham, and you get it in the witch's pot, for about 8 hours. And you eat that at 11 o'clock. You wake up with the worst case of heartburn you've ever had. But I'm going to tell you what makes LSU different is they are the most accommodating people. It is an incredible place. And now I'm going to ask y'all both about this coaching search thing. Yep. We had Dave Bartu on the round table this morning, Frank, with Doug and you and me and Brendan and Brad. I just got to say, if it's not Lane Kiffin, who do you want to be at LSU? Because all the governor really did, y'all tell me, is he just said what everybody else felt, But as the governor, he really should have stayed in his lane. But he said what everybody else said about these stupid buyouts. But Frank, tell people why Ross Bjork was the real perpetrator in the nightmare at A&M. It wasn't Scott Woodward.
Well, our governor did not help us at all. And I can tell you right now, it was not Woody that gave the extension.
Right. Yeah.
It was Bjork who gave the extension. And that was the issue. And I am a big proponent of Scott Woodward. David knows him very well personally. Yeah. And he brought 4 national championships to us. Now, again, I have nothing bad to say about Verge. I think Verge is a very nice man. I think he's put in his time. If you cut him, he will bleed purple and gold. Yeah. But we had a AD that had the stones after watching that debacle at A&M, where we were sitting literally 5 feet from each other across the aisles watching that. And by the time that halftime was over with, we had passed enough of the hat to get the buyout of the $54 million to run his ass out of here. But it took Scott Woodward to have the stones to say, you know what? You're done. He came in, he tried to push his way around. Scott didn't have any part of it and let him go. The fact that our governor ran his mouth on that Monday and should not have is why we don't have a very accomplished AD and why somebody else is going to get him, and it could come back to actually cost us.
Wait.
As far as the coaching search, though, Monsieur Bartu, as we were laughing with him about his French name, he did not instill me with any confidence in Kenny Dillingham. I will tell you, whoever loses out on the Lane Kiffin sweepstakes, I was joking with David when we were riding over here. I said, do you remember the movie Glengarry Glen Ross?
Yeah.
First place is a Cadillac. Second place is a set of steak knives. Third place is you're fired. That's exactly what's going on right now with this 3-way with Lane Kiffin. And from what I'm hearing, and I'll let David expound if he would like. Dude, if we don't have him, it will be the biggest shock from what we've heard over the last 48 hours.
All right, David, that's a hell of a take.
Well, first of all, with regards to, I'm just going to, just out of respect or whatever, I'm just going to talk a little bit about Scott. Scott's a fraternity brother of mine. I knew Scott in high school, but I've watched Scott throughout his career. I knew him when he was the assistant administration with Mark Emmert at LSU before they ever went to Washington. And with Saban, and I knew how he handled Saban when nobody else could handle him, right? And there was a lot of respect between him and Saban, honestly, for that. And obviously Emmert too. So he took him up to Washington, and from there, and then you can just track his track record after that. So the fact that we had him here and the people that he's hired, the Johnson, the Mulkey, the gymnast, gymnastic team that's won it all. And, from an optics standpoint, Brian Kiffin is a win-win. I mean, look at it. He's won everywhere he's won. He's the most winningest coach at Notre Dame. We needed somebody to stabilize the program after Brian Kelly inherited roughly 35 scholarship players. Right. And then he took that team with the portal and everything else to an SEC West champion. He won the SEC West. Crazy. And then all of a sudden, the wheels fell off. There was a disconnect or whatever. I can't go through all that. I don't know why. I have no idea. But I do know this, that throughout all that, Woodward was always, focused on LSU, and he was absolutely with Verge. Verge has been there for 30 plus, I don't know how long, but a long time. So
30 years.
I think Woodward would tell you right now that Verge is ready, and Verge is a great disciple of LSU and good. Now, so where do I think we'd have been with Scott Woodward versus Verge right now? I have no idea. I'm just very disappointed at what happened. Now,
because it didn't have to be.
The governor's situation is far and away the most embarrassing thing. I would have voted for the governor a million times over. But the fact of the matter is, it's no place for politics. LSU sports and LSU is no place for politics. It ought to be a melting pot, and it is a melting pot. I can promise you this: Republican or Democrat, independent, whatever. If you have somebody that's going to mess with LSU, we are all arm in arm storming the cap. So with that said, that's it. And I think, thank goodness that's all kind of been quieted now, and now we're on a search.
It's like the two Cajuns that were walking into the national championship in 2003 at the Superdome when we were going through the security line, which took forever. I hear one Cajun turn to the other and he goes, if them Arabs come in here and bomb this place, all I know is that some bitch better be wearing purple and gold or he's in deep trouble. He's deep trouble. So, but look, there's two absolutes that I want to mention. Everybody in Baton Rouge thought the Brian Kelly hire was a good hire when it first happened. We all thought it was. The other absolute, Dave and I talked about also on the drive, nobody knew it was coming. It was out of the blue. And you had to give that to Woody for doing that. That was an incredible hire. It didn't work out. And I think it's more on Kelly than anything. And by the way, Rob, there's something interesting that our listeners need to look for tomorrow. It's senior night in Death Valley. And Brian Kelly's son is a walk-on, and he will be coming out to get his adulation to come out on the field. And Pocky, Kelly's wife, I assume is going to be there. We don't know if Kelly's going to be there. I doubt he will be. But Brian Kelly could be on the floor of Tiger Stadium as his son runs out of the tunnel for the very last time as a senior. How about that for some Louisiana drama?
Unfortunately, I can't hope that the whole Tiger Nation would be as respectful as they should be.
They should.
But he should go out on the field for his son, in my opinion, and everybody should clap and let him go his way. So
I agree.
All right, so let's get back to who do we have that's going to be a replacement. So the answer is, of course, I don't have 100% guarantee. I don't know, but I've done enough calling and searching and like everybody else is, and I feel confident that it will be Lane Kiffin. I do feel very confident of that. I tell you what, I'm a little bit bummed out about. I'm bummed out that we're at the point now. When we started, Rob, it was going to be Lane Kiffin. It was going to be Nick Saban, right? It was Nick Saban or Kiffin.
First day.
And don't get me wrong. Nick Saban had a contract in front of him, and Nick Saban was absolutely considering it. Say no ifs, ands, or buts. Period. And then he became when he couldn't do it, and that was that. He became an advisor to it. So that's great. So I think I believe that he's advised accurately. And so with that said, I do believe that Lane is going to, and his family and extended family will be here. But unfortunately, because it was Saban or Kiffin, if that didn't happen, the Tiger Nation feels like anybody else is a loss.
Yep.
Anybody
no
else.
Doubt.
And if you remember, Nick Saban was a Dylan Darkowitz or whatever. Nick Saban wasn't anybody
he wasn't.
huge.
No, he wasn't.
But right now, it's all going to be a mental loss if it's not Saban or Kiffin. And now that we know it's not Saban, or we feel that way anyway, I'm pretty confident it's Kiffin. But I mean, who am I to say? But I'm just telling you.
Saban would have been a salve for the heart.
Yeah.
Good statement.
Kiffin is best for the head because he would be the best one going forward, and he could be the next Nick Saban at LSU for the next 15 years. That's what could be. That's what could be at stake.
I agree, and the last. Why argue about whether Florida is better than LSU or whatever else? All you can say is this. Florida's had great success with great coaches. LSU's had great success with great coaches. But LSU, pound for pound, has the best, we cultivate the best athletes in the nation, period, in the discussion. Second of all, we don't have to compete against – correct, per capita.
Yep.
We don't have to compete against Florida State. We don't compete against Miami. And Florida, don't say that, we don't compete with them, because Miami is legit. Miami's legit now, and you do compete with them.
They're competing against UCF and USF. Correct. I mean, it's a different ball game.
And my friends from Ole Miss will say, well, now with NIL, you're competing against everybody, and they're right. So that's just another mix. Louisiana, no.
Let me throw one at y'all. Here's the question. We're all three of us are in business. This is where we've let the tail start wagging the dog. Typically you're fired for cause, you're caught in dead with a farm animal naked or some god-awful scenario like that, or a donkey or something, or a
Edwin
zebra.
Edwards.
Yeah. Now, but really, why are we not firing coaches for cause? Because they don't recruit worth a shit, but they don't develop players. They don't coach well, and they lose to your rivals. That's cause. And in our world, we lose our jobs. We don't get $50 million in a buyout or something like that. It's like, see you later. I've left financial advisory firms one to another. You don't get a goodbye. You leave, and then Sunday afternoon, someone with a key from security lets you in the building to get your belongings to go to the other firm that paid you a nice big check. But it's not $50 million, Frank.
I can answer that question
but
real
y'all are both nailing it. I want to commend you. I mean, this is awesome stuff. And I'm glad you defended Scott Woodward because
it's called truth serum.
Yeah, truth, bro. He's been castigated.
No, I mean, with Scott, I would say that. I'd say that straight up either way. Now,
I'm glad you said that.
A lot of people are scared to say anything about the governor because the governor is the governor, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to say anything. Look, there's great things that he's done on both sides of that. I just don't agree with him being in LSU politics, period.
Yeah,
yes. But I'll answer your question on why that they have these contracts and they're not fired for cause because they don't win and all that. It's because the competition doesn't do it. So, like for instance, in my business,
good point.
I would love. I mean, the going rate for some piece of equipment might be $500 a day, but if somebody else is renting it for $300 a day, what are you going to do? So the fact that the governor is saying we can't have these contracts that are $100 million and guaranteed for 10 years and all that. The only thing I'll agree with the governor is that he says they can't be guaranteed by the state, which was his big deal, that the taxpayers, which we all know, the taxpayers are never going to pay $1 of any of a buyout.
Bullshit.
The boosters pay that, TAF, or Florida's TAF, Texas A&M's TAF, everybody's TAF pays that, right? So there's that. That is a little bit of grandstanding, if you ask me. But the reality is the reason why we're about to, regardless of what happens, Rob. The funny part is everything the governor was saying about we can't have these big contracts and guarantees. Here we're going to fast forward a month or however long it's been later. We're going to have a bigger contract with a bigger guarantee than you had before. Right. And the reason why is because Florida's doing it, and so-and-so's doing it, and otherwise we're going to get the head coach of Catholic High that's going to be our which wouldn't be a bad thing. Don't worry.
Well, Frank? What is
a Jesuit or whatever?
It's an arms race. It's an arms race. And what's the old saying, Rob? It doesn't matter when the sun comes up on the Serengeti. It doesn't matter if you're a lion or a gazelle. You both better be moving. Yeah. Around here, if you don't keep up with the Floridas or the Ole Misses, you're going to be getting some second-class coach.
Which is what the problem with Florida has been in the past. The Florida sat on their laurels of being in Florida and didn't do the things they needed to do to upgrade the facilities, to get into the game of the NIL and all that. And unfortunately, I understand because they were great, but unfortunately that has caused them to be where they are now. And now they're trying to catch up, and they might one day originally, but I don't think it's going to be this time.
And you know who got us that? Nick Saban in 2000, before he coached one down, he came, I'll never forget this, he came to our Atlanta Alumni Association. Yep. We never had an LSU coach come there, and he goes, "Who wants to win?" Everybody raised their hands. Said, "Great, put a crowbar in your wallet because our facilities are shit. Right. You need to upgrade them if we're ever going to get talent." And that's what Miss Terry's comment was when she went back to Nick. She said, "I don't know if you want to coach there. It looks third world." And that totally changed. Totally changed.
One more plug for Scott Woodward. That's one of the things that Scott was able to talk Nick off the freaking chair, really, in Emirates' office, because he was screaming about the facilities. And Emirates, I don't know if he had a button under the desk or whatever else, to come talk him off the chair. But I mean, the deal is we got the facilities. And it was because, everybody will get mad at Nick Saban because he left on Christmas and went to the pros and all that, and came back to Alabama and all that. But at the end of the day, I've always been so appreciative of him because he brought us from dead and dark ages back to reality and back to relevance. And here we are.
We're having the golden age of LSU football because of Nick Saban.
Yeah.
And I see a carbon copy in Lane Kiffin, who would then have the same time that through Nick Saban said it's the worst professional decision he's ever made by not leaving. If Lane Kiffin doesn't leave, with the facilities and the willingness for LSU to put the money in, and we know many of the big donors, and they are willing to put the money up. To my understanding, we're talking already $30 million.
I don't think money's a deal.
Annual.
It has anything to do with Nick Saban. With Lane Kiffin. Lane has never been a money guy. I mean, he said it like 2 months ago that Sexton hates it when he says it.
Yeah.
It's not about the money for him. Lane's a different breed of cat, as we all know. Now, we'll have to get used to that.
The money's going to be the same no matter who he goes with, because whoever's the high offer, if he decides to go with someone else, they're going to match it.
Yeah.
The money is what is the program willing to put in to the players and the facility? And from what my understanding is through a couple of different sources, we're looking at 30. The number was, are you willing to put $30 million in? And I've heard that from multiple sources. And if that is correct, that's what's going to get Lane Kiffin to decide to come. It's going to be that amount of investment.
I've heard that.
Let me throw one at you. I met yesterday.
Yeah.
I met in Little Rock yesterday with John Hartwell, our friend on the show.
Yeah.
There's a number. There's a number that came out, $18.9 million on each side of the line of scrimmage for the top tier, and that's about 30. That's $37.8 million. Yeah. That's okay. Now you think about program. Okay, look at Dabo. Dabo is going broke safely, not doing all this. But what's happening with Dabo is he's setting his ways, and right now he and Clemson are having hallway. You know what? They walk down the hall, pass by each other, and go blank you. That's kind of where they are in that program. But going back to LSU, by the way, duck hunting up here in Arkansas tomorrow morning. One of our members just sent a text. For those hunting the reservoir, we're having my wife's pecan, bacon, maple Danish in the morning. Here is a picture of it. But I mean, we're eating lasagna right now. Pesci's lasagna, Spanish. Look, it's ridiculous. And Jack Daniels is running the poker table. But I'm just going to tell y'all both.
Well, just so you know, Rob, that tomorrow morning we're going to have we'll have fried eggs, biscuits, and sausages, but we'll also have French toast as well in the blind. So
there's no better food in the world. No better food in the world. Hey, Louisiana's the state where the men can cook better than the women. I mean, because you got to have.
We're not saying that, Dawn.
Dawn, I'll tell you.
Rhonda, we're not saying that.
But every man down there's got his gumbo paddle, Frank.
Damn right. You're damn right we do.
Monogram, but
and proud of it.
I know Brendan's saying we've got to about wrap up, but I just say this is incredible insight from both of y'all because you're both smart. You know LSU. You are LSU. What did Bartu say this morning? You're going to have a lot of schools that fired their coach that might not get anybody any better. In fact, they might get somebody worse. I'll make a prediction right now. If I'm guessing, Drinkwitz is the new coach at Florida. I'm thinking John Sumrall ends up at Alabama Polytechnic Institute, Auburn. Yep. I'm going to say that Arkansas gets Alex Golashes from South Florida, Alex Golish. And I'm just not ready to say Kiffin, he's the last man standing. The Ole Miss people that I'm talking to, they're not seeing it. But my God, y'all are seeing it. So it's geographically, okay, I'm too close to Oxford.
It's happening.
Yeah, so I'm not going to argue with y'all. So y'all are smart.
Well, here's the next thing, though. But think about
no need to argue.
I mean, then who takes the Missouri job, right? Yeah. And then
Dominoes.
Then who comes from that to Ole Miss? Which is why I think as much as I think Ole Miss should let Lane coach as long as he wants to, because they're never going to get this close for a long time again.
Yeah.
At the same time, they don't want to miss out on the opportunity to hire somebody else if they're going to lose them, because all of a sudden, I did hear Lane at that Tuesday SEC coaches committee thing. He made a good point, and it's true. This is a fundamental NCAA rule problem. They should have some kind of breaks on you being able to poach another coach during the season. It should be. So we wouldn't all be fighting about this.
You're right.
I mean, Florida wouldn't have been able to fire Banjo Billy. Nobody would have been able to do that. I mean, it would have all been done. Last thing I'm going to say about the money. You're talking about 14 million, 15 million, all these, or how much they're paying. And whether Kiffin's going to go for the higher number. We're all business people. Think about what $13 and $14 million a year into your pocket.
Yeah.
As my CPA says, Ass National. It's going to Ass National. 13 and 14 million into Ass National.
Yeah.
That is a whole lot of money. I mean, the businesses that we run, that you're lucky if you get 20% EBITDA.
Sure.
Yeah.
What is 14? What do you have to do revenue-wise to get 14
Crazy.
million?
Yeah.
It's crazy. So the fact that it's 14 versus 15, I'm just going to go where I want to go.
That's right.
It doesn't matter.
Where am I happy, and where are they willing to put in what it takes to win? That's the critical point.
Right.
And I think the fact that Nick Saban came out
And where will your family be happy?
and told Lane that's where you need to go. And yeah, you're the family, absolutely.
Where will your kids be happy?
Hey, if mama and daughter and son ain't happy, nobody is.
This is the Lane train. Choo, choo, choo. Here's the Lane train. Choo, choo.
Well,
Next stop, BTR. Choo, choo.
Oh, the lane train, that's Boxcar Willie. Woo! For only
We're here right
$19.95. Get all the LP albums of Box. I know Brendan's going to say we got to wrap up. This is great insight. And there's going to be a lot of talk about this in the duck blind tomorrow, in between shooting gray ducks and mallards and pintails. Three pintails a day in Arkansas this year. Three pintails
It's
a day.
going to be teal, wood ducks, and some grays, and we'll be lucky if we see some.
and we got lots of bacon in there for teal balls. We'll wrap them some bitches up. Hey, and by the way, I talked to Brendan.
Yeah.
We're going to get Bengal One rolling. One of the very first on-site shows that we're going to do on a Saturday is going to be at our tailgate in Baton Rouge for one game early next year. So be ready. We're going to do it, and we'll do it from the show.
I know. Look, I am so ready for that. I'm ready to jump through the screen right now. This is awesome. Executive producer extraordinaire Brendan Martin. Man, David Phillips, nice to meet you. Typical of my LSU friends. I love them. I was 3 weeks away from being an LSU fan because Dad was a preferred walk-on and ended up at Auburn. But I've always grown up 87 WWL New Orleans. I love the Tigers, man. Miss playing y'all every year, too. Thanks, everybody. Have a blessed weekend.
Thank you so much.
Limit out, guys. Limit out.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
See you, buddy. See y'all.
See you, man. Thanks for letting me be.